Hey guys, welcome back to In the Alley. My name is Cody. Glad you guys are back for another video. Tonight we are recapping the 805 matchup between Vegas and Tucson. So, before we get into this, I've said this in every other preview, so if you're watching this one, you're already tired of this, I apologize, but I'm just trying something different here. Previews for every single game, so it's not an hour-long video of trying to upload that. You can pick and choose the videos you want to watch instead of having to go through the scroll bar and have to go through timestamps and do whatever. And this will all be on a playlist that I'm hoping to create and all of that stuff. Recaps will be the same way. I just want to try something different. If it works, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So we'll see. But that being said, let's take a look at our preview. Card popping up here. 8:05 p.m. Central Time, YouTube and Caffeine TV, live from the Tucson Arena in Tucson, Arizona. The undefeated 7-0 Vegas Nighthawks, 5-0 in the West, heading to Tucson to take on the 1-5 Tucson Sugar Skulls. Now, do not let the record fool you. 1-5, but some of those losses are kind of close. Ergo, last week. Let's take a look at our statistical leaders here. Jerome Johnson and Malik Mitchell lead both in rushing and passing for their respective teams. Quentin Randolph leads in the receiving category for Vegas, but we'll talk about him in a minute. Mike Kerrigan leads still for Tucson, but they've had such turnover when it comes to rosters, like roster players and stuff like that. We'll have to chat about that when it comes time, but Kerrigan's still there from day one, Malik Mitchell as well, so it's getting to the point where it's like, who started with this team? On the defensive side, Gabe McCoy, Mikel Calhoun, we'll talk about that in a second, Bryce Hampton, all lead in their respective defensive sides. Braden Utley, Jaquez Jackson, and Robert Sheffield all lead for Tucson on their respective defensive sides. Mikel Calhoun off of short-term injured reserve. Just let the cat out of the bag there. More from him, hopefully. I'll just let it out here too. Quentin Randolph, he is on injured reserve. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But there we go. Let's talk about our players to watch here. For Vegas, Jerome Johnson. Right now, and you can go watch the San Antonio preview. Right now, I think Jerome Johnson is second in the MVP voting. If you were to hold the vote today, I think Sam Castronova is my vote for the MVP right now. Jerome Johnson, though, is second, and the reason why is you look at the statistics that he has right here. 167 yards on just 12 completions, 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground. The rushing yards, yes, he has more rushing yards than Castronova. Passing yards is less. I don't know, man. It could be. I mean, I could see the argument for Jerome Johnson being an MVP front runner. You need more of it. Simple as that. There's no slouch with Tucson here. Jerome Johnson needs to not let a 1-5 record get in that way. Simple as that. I hope Vegas isn't taking this game lightly. I want to see this guy run all over. I want to see this guy sling the ball to his wide receivers. It's going to be tough with one of your leading guys out, but we'll see how they can adjust. Defensively, Bryce Hampton, 2 tackles, 1 pick. Not, I wouldn't say good, but that's what you do. I mean, San Diego was able to sling it all over. You did get that interception. And overall for the season, you have 5 picks, 5 pass breakups, and 32.5 tackles. He's my player to watch because I know when Tucson wants to throw the ball, they are going to find whoever they can, whether it's Kerrigan, Jalen Marshall, or any of these new guys that we'll talk about. And we'll talk about, Brian Smith in a second. But you got to be able to lock down those wide receivers, make this team one-dimensional. And that's when you can really hit Malik Mitchell in the backfield like Arizona was able to do, like Duke City has been able to do, like Northern Arizona has been able to do. Maybe get to Malik Mitchell. I don't think he played against Duke City now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, anyway. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think he played against Northern Arizona because that was Taz Wilson. All right, well, against Arizona at least. There. Well, maybe, he did play against... he played against Duke City in the first game? No, I'm getting off track. Anyway, Players to watch here for Tucson, because now I'm trying to remember all this stuff. Players to watch for Tucson. Brian Smith, welcome to Tucson. 3 catches, 56 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You need more of it. Simple. You're 1-5. You've had a lot of roster turnover. I think this is the Brian Smith from Jacksonville who went over to Louisiana. I'm not sure. And then came back into the Indoor Football League. If it's not, I am completely mistaken. I apologize. But if this is him, then you know what you're kind of getting. Jacksonville had a good wide receiver. I'm going to talk like this is him. I expect more of it. Like I said, you got Mike Kerrigan, you've got Jalen Marshall, you got a lot of guys you just signed as well. So we'll see. But right now, you cannot have Malik Mitchell running being the only offense, or Mike Jones. You have to be able to take pressure off of that and get that second dimension. He needs to be a leading receiver. Defensively for Tucson, Jalen Parks. 4.5 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and 3 pass breakups. Simple. I know I say it's simple. Get after Jerome Johnson. Make him uncomfortable. Blow up Antonio Wimbush in the backfield. Bad down passes. I know, easier said than done. I know I always say it. Sounds simple. We'll see if they can do it. Against an MVP candidate right now? Who knows? But Jalen Parks, let's have a breakout game, man. Let's do it. Series history, Tucson leads 3-1. Their last meeting, though, is Vegas's only win, week 16 of last year at Tucson, 40-34. Nighthawks favored by 2 touchdowns. Money line is locked in an over-under of 93, so they are expecting some points in this one. Let's go take a look at the rosters, the injuries, our bets, predictions, and all of that stuff within the preview. All right, injury report. I don't know if he was on the short term and got moved up, or if I can't remember last week's, but Roderick Chapman to the season injured reserve list. I think he was already there, so what can you do? 2 additions, though, for Vegas, Quentin Randolph and Jerry Garner. Kind of some heavy hitters there on the Vegas side. We'll see. Maybe you might not need them. Maybe you need them badly. We'll find out. For Tucson, not really much changed. I think they might have cut a guy from short-term injured reserve. Other than that, everything else stays the same for the Sugar Skulls. Let's go take a look at those rosters, our bets, and our predictions. All right, so 25-man rosters. Let's talk about the away team. Offensively for Vegas, not really much has changed except the subtraction of Quentin Randolph and the addition of offensive lineman Fred Leanua. Couldn't find out anything about Fred Leanua when you Google him, so I think Fred might be an American name, and Leanua is a first name, kind of like San Diego has Ben Moa, but it's, I think, Panay or Panay for his actual first name, so we'll see. Defensively for the Nighthawks, while they do lose Jerry Garner and they do lose Quentin Randolph, they do gain back BJ Foster and Mikkel Calhoun on the defensive side. So that will probably allow you to move Gabe McCoy back down to the defensive line side. Calhoun will probably take back over his linebacking position, and BJ Foster adds some much needed depth to the secondary. DJ Ford might go back there as well, or he might just be used as a reserve linebacker. On the Tucson side, a lot of additions. They have traded for Deion McShane. They've re-signed MJ Harris, who I think started the season out with them, got cut and is back, and they've signed Demisio Ewing. Other than that, not really much else on the offensive side. Defensive side, same defensive line. Jaquez Jackson is your linebacker. They have Chris Ingram. They've signed Isaac James. So that's really it for Tucson. They have gone through a lot of roster turnover, a lot of injuries, and I understand that, but a lot of roster turnover here. We'll see what happens. Let's go take a look at our bet, our predictions, and we'll wrap up. All right, best bet, -14. I could take the over. I just think with the amount, like I said, like I've alluded to, the amount of roster turnover and guys you've had to bring in on the offense, the defense looks fine for Tucson, but that offense, I don't know if they're going to be scoring points. They can. They only scored, 32 against Arizona? They've only scored how much did they score against Northern Arizona? Like, they just have not been putting up points. I understand they just got Malik Mitchell back. He's been hurt. They've had to have 2 other quarterbacks, one who wasn't even necessarily a quarterback. I get it. Vegas is rolling. And even though they don't have Quentin Randolph, they don't lose a step. You're going to see CJ Wyndham in there. Caleb Hawley's still going to get his catches. Antonio Wimbush is going to come out of the backfield. Simple as that. Defensively for Vegas, they do bring back Mikael Calhoun, who is just a beast. He might be Defensive Player of the Year. We'll see. But, yeah, I got minus 14. I don't think it's going to be anything more than a dominant win. Vegas is just the best team in the Indoor Football League right now. I mean, you can make the case for Frisco probably, but other than that, there's not really a close second. I got minus 14. Simple as that. Let's go check out our prediction, and we will wrap up. All right. Prediction there, 56-41. It's 15. So I'm giving myself 15 points for the spread of minus 14. So there's an ability to push. However, can Vegas score 56? Maybe. It's going to come down to both these teams run the ball. That's the reason I'm not necessarily betting the over, because the over is 90 plus points. Both teams run the ball. Jerome Johnson's going to scramble. Malik Mitchell is probably going to scramble. They might take a couple deep shots, both teams here and there, but I think running the ball is going to be the name of the game here. And I think the amount of turnovers, mistakes, whatever, I think it just favors Vegas. I know it's in Tucson. Crazy things happen. Maybe we have a false start that's not a false start that's 2 yards across the line of scrimmage. Wink, wink. Maybe we also have some refs like Vegas had against San Diego that gives some phantom pass interference calls. I'm kidding. I don't care. I think Vegas is going to win this game. If not by 14, I still predict them winning this game. They're just good. Simple as that. They are a wagon. Better luck next year, Tucson, but Vegas has this one. They stay undefeated, and that's it. That's my prediction. That's the preview, bets, roster, everything like that. I appreciate you guys watching the video. Truly, it means a lot to me. It means a lot of you guys watching all the videos, the ones in the past, catching up on all the other ones. I know some people probably aren't tuning into a week 3 preview right now, which is fine. But at the end of the day, I do appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this one, watch all the other ones. It means a lot to me. That being said, got some more to do. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this one at least. Until then, guys, I'll see you in the next video. See you.